In a city where power and prejudice too often merged, a man like Victor Morel always found a way to prosper. A police officer for nearly 20 years, he had risen through the ranks not through his talent or his sense of justice, but through his interpersonal skills and his ability to maintain order in his own way. Brutal, arbitrary, and ruthless. Victor Morel was not simply feared. He was feared. His name circulated in working-class neighborhoods like that of a menacing specter. Young black and Arab men knew that a meeting with him could result in a harsh arrest, a humiliating search, or worse. Those who had tried to file a complaint against him quickly understood the extent of the wall they were facing. A complicit system, where police reports were all similar, always in favor of the officers. Morel had learned to play with limits. When an overly scrupulous colleague dared to question his methods, he would call him to order with a cold look and a tap on the shoulder, clearly meaning, "You are with us or against us." And no one wanted to be against him. His arrogance had grown stronger over the years. After all, who would contradict the word of a decorated police officer? Who would dare face his contemptuous look and condescending smile when he ordered an arrest without good reason? He felt invincible. But what he didn't know was that a simple abuse of power would unleash a storm he had never imagined.
That day, bright sunshine bathed the city's shopping streets, casting sharp shadows on the spattly sidewalks.
The windows of luxury boutiques gleamed in the golden light, displaying expensive watches, tailored suits and fine leather handbags. Passers-by came and went, some in a hurry, others enjoying the peaceful atmosphere of this neighborhood where opulence could be seen on every street corner. Among them, a black woman moved with natural grace. Her appearance commanded respect without her needing to say a word. A perfectly fitted beige suit hugged her slender figure, and discreet gold earrings caught the light when she moved her head slightly. His straight head carriage and confident gait demonstrated a confidence that could not be feigned. In her right hand, she held a brand-new designer bag, recently purchased from a renowned boutique. A refined piece, the simple possession of which was enough to assert a certain social status. But she didn't pay attention to the looks she attracted. She walked, focused on her phone, probably reading an important message or checking her busy schedule. Then a loud voice broke the peaceful flow of the moment. "Hey, you!"
The sentence cracked through the air like a whip.
The woman slowly raised her head, slightly surprised by the authoritarian tone that had just been aimed at her. In front of her, a man in uniform was striding towards her, his hand resting casually on his belt, not far from his weapon. His hard gaze was fixed on her, as if he had just identified a threat.
"Victor Morel.
Show me your receipt." The woman looked at him without blinking. "Pardon?" she asked, her calm tone contrasting with the aggressiveness of her interlocutor. "This bag. You stole it, didn't you?" Around them, the street seemed to freeze. Some passers-by slowed down, others stopped altogether, listening. There was in the air that special thrill of moments when you sense that an important event is happening. The woman held his gaze and responded with disturbing serenity.
"I ask you not to accuse me without proof."
"This bag is mine, and I have the receipt." Victor looked at her, a disdainful smile appearing at the corner of his lips. He knew this type of woman. Those who thought they could stand up to a police officer. Those who believed that their education, their status, or their financial comfort gave them some immunity. He couldn't stand them. "Give me your receipt immediately, otherwise I will send you on your flight." This time, the murmurs in the crowd became more distinct. A man, discreet but attentive, took out his phone and started filming. The woman, still impassive, placed her bag on the hood of a car and slowly took out a carefully folded paper from her pocket. "Here. I hope you can read." The tone was neither mocking nor aggressive. He was simply charged with a natural authority that Victor could not stand. He snatched the receipt away and looked at it quickly.
"The store logo, the time of purchase, the electronic signature of the bank card."
Everything was in order. But it was already too late. Victor felt his jaw tighten. He didn't like the idea of being wrong. He didn't like the idea of having lost face in front of a black woman. "You may have manipulated the saleswoman." This sentence, uttered without thinking, caused a shudder of disapproval in the audience. The crowd was no longer just a spectator, it became a witness. The woman took a step forward. She didn't need to raise her voice. "You've just made a huge mistake, officer." There was, in this simple sentence, a quiet threat that Victor did not yet understand. But he would learn quickly.
Suddenly, the shop door burst open, casting a golden light onto the sidewalk.
A blonde woman, elegantly dressed in a cream silk suit, hurried out, her face marked with obvious panic.
Madame Diallo,
she exclaimed, out of breath. Victor Morel felt his heart skip a beat. A wave of tension ran through the crowd that had gathered around the stage. The murmurs intensified, some exchanging intrigued glances, others locking their eyes on the policeman, curious to see how he would react. Before he could say a word, another man strode out of the store. It was the store manager, a distinguished-looking 50-year-old, whose three-piece suit seemed to have been tailor-made. He scanned the scene before stopping dead in front of our Diallo. "Ms. Diallo, we are sincerely sorry for this incident." Victor's expression changed from arrogance to worry in an instant. He stepped back slightly, his gaze oscillating between our Diallo and the two store employees. Something was wrong. He suddenly understood the extent of his mistake. The murmurs in the crowd increased in intensity. Some were already taking out their phones to search for information on this mysterious woman, while others, more knowledgeable, widened their eyes when they finally recognized her name.
Ava Diallo,
Captain of the Judicial Police, specialist in cases of corruption and abuse of power within law enforcement. Victor felt a cold sweat running down the back of his neck. He had just accused of theft and humiliated in the middle of the street a woman who, with her signature alone, could end his career. Awa crossed her arms slowly, without taking her eyes off Victor. "So, Officer Morel, still sure that I stole this bag?" His voice was calm, but sharp as a blade. Victor opened his mouth, but no sound came out. The eyes focused on him burned like so many searchlights in the middle of the night. He desperately searched for an escape, a way to turn the situation around, but all he found was a wall. Awa took out her phone with deliberate slowness and dialed a number in full view. "I want a detailed report on Agent Victor Morel. His behavior needs to be investigated immediately." The voice on the other end of the line was not long in coming. "Welcome, Captain." Victor swallowed hard. "I was just doing my job," he stammered, his voice now much less confident. Awa raised an eyebrow, a cold smile tugging at her lips briefly. "Your job?" she repeated slowly. "Your job is to protect and serve, not to humiliate and abuse your power. Do you think your uniform makes you untouchable? You just picked on the wrong person." Victor opened his mouth to retort, but Awa raised an imperious hand, cutting him off. "Don't waste your time with excuses.
What you did is inexcusable."
She turned slightly and pointed to a man in the crowd who was holding his phone at chest height, camera on.
"This is all filmed.
By tomorrow, this video will have made the rounds on social networks." Victor felt his legs give way beneath him. He knew what that meant. His superiors were going to see these images. The media were going to broadcast them over and over again. The journalists were going to ask questions. And worst of all, our Diallo was going to write a report. A report which could sign the end of his career. His throat was dry, his heart was pounding. He would have given anything to go back a few minutes, to not have let his contempt and arrogance guide him. But it was too late. He had just fallen into his own trap. A few days later, the video went viral. Thousands of people denounced the attitude of Victor Morel, demanding sanctions. An official police statement announced that Officer Morel had been suspended pending an internal investigation. As for our Diallo, she continued her fight to denounce these injustices, proving that power should never be used to humiliate, but to protect. Victor Morel, once so arrogant, was forced to face his actions. He realized too late that the world was changing and that abuses of authority would no longer go unpunished. And he never forgot this lesson.